Hello and welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic. It's Build a Deck Tuesday here at MTG Burgeoning, and we are going to continue our series of building around an Enchantments Matter EDH deck with Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. MTG Burgeoning community, what is up? Here we go. This is it. We are completing our Sisay Weatherlight Captain EDH deck. We are completing it today. The land base is being installed. If you missed any of the previous episodes of this particular deck building series, why are you missing them? But if you are, you can click on the links in the description below and you can review all of the different cards and the reasons for their inclusion in this deck right now. So far, very briefly, these are the cards in the 99 that are not the lands. We have Enlightened Tutor, Sterling Grove, Plea for Guidance, Setessan Champion, Eidolon of Blossoms, Greater Oromancy, Sphere of Safety, Gen, Arcanum Weaver, you couldn't wait to hop off the page there, Hannah, Ship's Navigator, Zur the Enchanter, Calyx, Destiny's Hand, Dance of the Manse, Honden of Cleansing Fire, Honden of Seeing Winds, Honden of Night's Reach, Honden of Infinite Rage, Honden of Life's Web, Sanctum of Tranquil Light, Sanctum of Calm Waters, Sanctum of Stone Fangs, Sanctum of Shattered Heights, Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest, Sanctum of All, Heliod, God of the Sun, Thassa, God of the Sea, Erebus, God of the Dead, Perforos, God of the Forge, Nylea, God of the Hunt, Ifara, God of the Polis, Mogus, God of the Slaughter, Charametra, God of Harvests, Iroas, God of Victory, Pharika, God of Affliction, Heliod, Sun-Crowned, Thassa, Deep Dwelling, Perforos, Bronze-Blooded, Nylea, Keen-Eyed, Helm of the Gods, All That Glitters, Paradox Haze, Enigmatic Incarnation, Archon of Sun's Grace, Sigil of the Empty Throne, Champion's Helm, Beast Within, Generous Gift, Oblivion Ring, Banished Light, Karmic Justice, Day of Judgment, Ruinous Ultimatum, Obliterate, Decree of Annihilation, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Altar of the Pantheon, Crop Rotation, Feyburrow Elder, Skyshroud Claim, and Gigantha the Wellspring. This is a 60-card deck at the moment, and then we include, of course, the incomparable Sisay Weatherlight Captain. That brings us to a grand total of 61 cards, meaning that we have 39 slots remaining to install our land base. So let's get with the installing right now. We are going to include one copy each of a basic land, a plains, an island, a swamp, a mountain, and a forest. 5 basic lands. We are also going to include one copy of each triome that's currently available, just because we don't have all 10. The Indatha, the Rogren, Zagoth, Savai, and Ketria. 5 basics, 5 triomes, so we're up to 10. Next up, we are going to include the entire cycle of shock land. So that's all 10 shocks to double the land total from 10 up to 20. Hallowed Fountain, Watery Grave, Blood Crypt, Stomping Ground, Temple Garden, Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry, Steam Vents, Breeding Pool, and Overgrown Tomb. So that adds to 10 more lands, bringing us up to 20. Next, 10 lands. Again, we are going to include the entire cycle of fetch lands. Now, each of these fetch lands can get any one of these 20 aforementioned lands. We've got all 10 of them here, folks. Flooded Strand, Polluted Delta, Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills, Windswept Heath, Marsh Flats, Arid Mesa, Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, and Verdant Catacombs. So with each of these 10 fetch lands can get any one of these previously mentioned 20 lands. The 5 basics, the 5 triomes, and any of the 10 shock lands. So with those 30 lands already showcased, that leaves us with 9 more. So let's make the last of our lands really count, because we're playing 5 colors, and we need to be able to activate Sisay's ability, white, blue, black, red, green, in order to search our library for a legendary permanent card with converted mana cost less than Sisay's power, and then put that onto the battlefield. In order to help do that, by a way in which to use the mana that we have available to create the white, blue, black, red, green that we need, 1 copy of Crystal Quarry, an Odyssey classic. We can tap it for a colorless, or we can tap 5 and tap Crystal Quarry to add white, blue, black, red, green to our mana pool. Perfect for what we need it to do, just in case our fetch lands aren't working to the best of their abilities. Next up, and we're going to jump from 2001 Odyssey all the way up to the time of Amonkhet to include a better version of Crystal Quarry, and that's going to be 1 copy of Cascading Cataracts. The land taps for a colorless and does not exactly what we're looking for with Crystal Quarry, but most likely we're going to be using it for the white, blue, black, red, green. We tap 5, we tap Cascading Cataracts, and we add 5 mana in any combination of colors to our mana pool. In addition, Cascading Cataracts is indestructible, so this is a big improvement over Crystal Quarry in every possible way, and we are very thankful to include it into this 5-color build. Alright, speaking of 5 colors, we are definitely including the best land in our format, Command Tower, for all intents and purposes. Particularly with this deck, this turns sideways to add 1 mana of any color to our mana pool. Alright, next up, this is going to be land number 34 overall, and for all intents and purposes, this hopefully ends up being Command Tower number 2. Reflecting Pool, when we tap this, we add to our mana pool 1 mana of any type a land we control could produce. And of course, if we already have Command Tower on the battlefield, and we play a Reflecting Pool, guess what? We have 2 Command Towers, and that is just aces in my book, folks. All right, land number 35, card number 96 overall, 97, yeah, card number 95, yeah, 96 overall. We have a copy of Exotic Orchard. Hopefully we have a lot of opponents that like to splash as many colors in their EDH decks as I do, so that we can tap this land to add 1 mana of any color a land an opponent controls could produce. So hopefully, you know, if the stars align as perfectly as we're hoping they will, we could potentially have 3 Command Towers in play. And is there anything else that can beat that, folks? Well, I think card number 97 might be able to beat that. And that is going to be 1 copy of the World Tree. The World Tree enters the battlefield tapped. It taps for a green. As long as we control 6 or more lands we control have tapped to add 1 mana of any color. So as long as there are at least 5 other lands when we get the World Tree in play, technically every one of our lands are Command Towers, and that's just double aces in my book. However, there's also an additional ability that's going to play extraordinarily well in this deck. For 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black, 2 red, and 2 green, we can tap that, tap the World Tree, sacrifice it, and then search our library for any number of God cards and put them onto the battlefield. Then shuffle our library. So just for the purposes of refreshing our short-term memory, exactly how many God cards do we have? 1, 2... Oh, we're at the end here. Oh, they got mixed up. There are 14 gods in this deck, folks. We have Heliod and Thassa. Let's see if we can't flush them out real quick. Shouldn't be too hard to find them. I thought I kept them in order. There we go. So let's pull these off to the side. So through an activation of the World Tree, any combination of these 14 gods could make it right into play. And if you notice, and this is where things get very, very nice, we are going to highlight the 2 Purphoroses, because when these babies hit the battlefield, because of the way that we have already carefully constructed the deck with respect to the potential for devotion, if all of these gods hit the battlefield upon an activation of the World Tree, they will all enter as creatures. Purphoros will trigger, and each god coming into play will deal 2 damage to our opponents. That's with original Purphoros from the original Theros block. Now, however, if we shift over to the left a little bit and take a look at the Bronze-Blooded here, he gives other creatures we control haste. So not only do these creatures come into play and trigger Purphoros, God of the Forge, dealing 2 damage to each of our opponents for each god coming into play, as long as their creatures and their devotion are met, of course, we are also going to be able to attack right away too, because Purphoros, the Bronze-Blooded, gives all of these other creatures haste. So this is an ultimate win condition for this deck. Iroas will give them Menace. It's just going to be a great thing to pull out. And that's why we wanted to include a copy of the World Tree, not just for the purposes of fixing the mana, which, let's be honest, is going to be very important in a 5-color deck where you want to tap Ruberg as many times as possible for Sisay, but also to get those gods into play. The World Tree is going to do a lot of work, folks. All right, card number 98, land number 33, is Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Taps for a colorless. We can tap 1, tap white, tap this, and then we can put target enchantment card from our graveyard on top of our library. So we have some additional graveyard recursion in addition to some of the other cards we already have, Gan Arcanum Weaver and Hannah, Ship's Navigator. And finally, land number 99. I'm sorry, land 99. Yeah, we're playing with 99 lands in the deck. Card 99, 1 copy of Reliquary Tower. We have the potential of having a great number of cards in our hand, and I like to keep them in our hand and not discard them to our graveyard. Having a copy of Reliquary Tower on the battlefield makes sure that we don't have to abide by any maximum hand size requirements. All right, and then it all comes down to the very last card, card number 100, land number 30. I'm sorry, I'm way off with the numbers of lands here. I just said land number 33, land number 34. Just completely disregard that and edit out everything you've already heard. We got 30 lands here and 8 lands right there for a total of 38. I'm way off my rocker there. Don't know exactly what's going on. This is land 39, card 100. The last card to be added to the Sisay Weatherlight Captain Enchantments Matter build, and it's 1 copy of Serra's Sanctum. We tap Serra's Sanctum. It adds a white mana to our mana pool for each enchantment we control. Now, we're not playing mono white, so there could be initially some concerns about the 5 colors in the deck. However, if we take a moment here just to look at the high number of spells in this deck that call for colorless generic mana, let's just take a look at the gods real quick. 4, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. That was just 1, 2, 3. It's the sanctums where it really comes into play. 3, 3. There's another 3. Look at, we got our artifacts there. Decree of Annihilation is 8. Obliterate is 6. Got some straight white spells. There's a lot of it with the sanctums because particularly the core 2021 sanctums are all pretty high. The Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest is 2, 2, 1, 3. Okay, so not as much. It's the Hondens 4, 2, 3, 4, 3. So, and plus then we also have the Dance of the Mance. So the Serra's Sanctum is definitely going to help with the ability to pay some of those higher costing spells. And folks, that is it. MTG Burgeoning, my hats go off to you again. We have completed another build a deck masterpiece. When next we meet, I will come back with results from gameplay and play testing. This has been a great ride. Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, 5-color Enchantments Matter EDH deck. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.